What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and today is my annual not mock draft. And with that being said, for y'all who are new to here, I'm going to do some house cleaning. So for those who don't know, the not mock draft is based on my SSN metric: scheme, skill, need. With that, I slot guys to the best places they need to be at. Now, I will say this. Not every player who's predicted to go in the first round will be on my list. The reason for that is because I may not have found a space that I thought fits them well. Also, when it comes to the not mock draft, if I select a player earlier, I will not repeat him as a selection later. So all these players that you will see in the not mock draft will perfectly fit into the schemes that the team is running. They have the skill that matches that scheme, and it's also a need. Now, I will also say this as well. The need may not be great at the time, but it's a need that they need to it's a need that they will need to take care of down the line, or a need that will make it better for them to be more efficient when it comes to them as a team. So with all the house cleaning out of the way, I now bring you the 2026 not mock draft. So starting out at number 1, I have the best player that fits the Las Vegas Raiders is Keion Proctor, the right tackle out of Alabama. Now, I know a lot of people love Fernando Mendoza and things like that, but for right now, building the front lines of the Raiders, I think, is far more important than taking a quarterback at this point. Not only that, you're talking about long term. When you think about it, next year is actually a quarterback's draft. And the fact that there's this thing of rushing to get a guy that, in all honesty, is a developmental guy becomes problematic to me. But Keion Proctor is the best fit for the Raiders at this point, because the one thing he's not really great at is he's not bad at it, but he's not great at pass protection. But he's amazing at run blocking, which is what you need, being as though you need Ashton Genty to get off. Now, the benefit that you have is that Kirk Cousins, even though I've said what I've said about Kirk Cousins for a long time, Kirk Cousins can get the ball out of his hands. You never have Kirk hold on to the ball for too long. Kirk will get the ball out of his hands, so a guy like Keion Proctor can actually be a starter and actually learn on the job. Not only that, it cements and locks up your front line on your offensive line for a long time. This has been, the offensive line has been a problem area for the Raiders for a very long time. This is your opportunity to rebuild that line. And not only that, show that when you went and got Tyler Linderbaum, you were really focused on actually having a better franchise and a better team. And for that, all these reasons that I explained to you right now, I think Keion Proctor is the best fit for the Raiders. Next is the New York Jets. A team that has tried it over and over and over again. I think that what's been the problem with the New York Jets has been not the front office per se, but more the personnel not buying into what the system is. The Jets actually have a very good team. When you look at the team and everybody on that team, when you look at offensively, they have a very good offensive line. Like they've rebuilt an offensive line. defensively. They've done a fantastic job on the defensive side of the ball. Even though they got rid of Quentin Williams and also Quincy Williams walked away, they traded away Sauce Gardner. They still are a team that can be very good in the long run. So with that, it's one of those things where when you look around, when you look all over them as a team, the only thing they're missing is a complimentary wide receiver to Garrett Wilson. And with that, Carnell Tate is going to be the best fit for the Jets. He will be a fantastic complement to Garrett Wilson. Not only that, he's also familiar with Garrett Wilson already, so the transition from him going from college to the NFL will almost be practically no transition at all. He's fantastic when it comes down to route running and things like that. Not only that, his ability will force teams to not double and triple team or try to triple team Garrett Wilson in the long run. This will also make Mason Taylor a better option underneath. So with that, to me, Carnell Tate is the best fit according to my mock draft. Next is the Arizona Cardinals. Now, the Arizona Cardinals, with them now letting the Kyler Murray experiment be gone now, they've done a fantastic job with doing their best to trying to get their team back together and find something that really benefits them long term. With that, the guy that I feel best complements this defense, especially with who's coming in as defensive coordinator and also who's coming in with the offense, the best guy I have slotted here is David Bailey. Yes, David Bailey as an edge rusher will definitely complement not only Walter Nolan, but all the other guys that is on that team. Budda Baker will now get the opportunity to go back to what he's better at, and that's basically being the ball hawk that he is and not being obligated to come down and make tackles. I will admit, Cody Simon had a middling year, but that was because he was trying to learn the defense. This new defense will probably be more catered towards him being able to call plays and get in and out of plays far more quickly. So I think that David Bailey is the best fit for the Arizona Cardinals. Next is the Tennessee Titans. Now, with Tennessee now going with Robert Saleh, who's known to be able to really do the things he needs to do to get the team on board, you need something that complements Cam Ward, but at the same time complements him to a point where he doesn't you want to minimize the amount of running Cam Ward does. You don't mind him scrambling, but you don't want him to turn into a Kyler Murray type. And with that, the best fit for the Tennessee Titans is, in fact, Mike Washington Jr., the running back from Arkansas. The reason I say that is because I know a lot of people right now who might be Tennessee fans might be like, John, what's wrong with Jeremiah Love? Y'all already got those type of players on your team now. Currently, you have a Tony Pollard. You have a Tyjae Spears. They're basically in a, not in a grand scheme of things, but they're technically, their skill sets are almost identical to Jeremiah Love. You will basically be bringing in Jeremiah Love, have Tony Pollard, who's another Jeremiah Love, and then Tyjae Spears, who's another Jeremiah Love. I think that what you do, you can't overcrowd your running back room with the same guys. So with that, you have to find something different. And to me, I think that Mike Washington, like I said, he does have that Eddie George type of style that was so great for Tennessee years ago, and I think it will benefit Tennessee now. It will get Brian Daboll away from utilizing his quarterback as a runner as much. Contrary, because if you take Jeremiah Love, you might end up in a situation where Brian Daboll uses Jeremiah Love the same way he used Saquon Barkley, which wasn't well at all. So again, I think Mike Washington Jr. is the best fit for the Tennessee Titans. Next is the New York Giants. New York, people may think that they need work everywhere. With the recent trade of Dexter Lawrence, everybody might be like, well, let's go for a D tackle. The problem is that not all the D tackles in this current draft are great. And that's the problem. Like, you're not going to replace Dexter Lawrence in this draft. So you have to go somewhere else. Currently, right now, you have Jackson Dart at quarterback. You have Scatterbo at running back. And currently, right now, you have a scattered line. And with that, I think that the best fit for the New York Giants is an offensive lineman, and that guy is Vega Inoue. This is, to me, Inoue is the best offensive guard in this class. I understand that there are people that got guys listed ahead of him, but when you think about guard, he's the best one. And to me, I think that it's important for the Giants to build up this offensive line, especially if you want to get Jackson Dart to a point where he's more of a pocket passer and not this guy who's going to run to the sidelines and everything, or try to stay in bounds and end up long term getting himself injured over and over and over again. You also want for Cam Scatterbo and Tyrone Tracy and them to have some open lanes. This guy gets the lanes open. He did a fantastic job with Nick Singleton and Keion Allen. So I think that this guy is the best. So be on the lookout. Vega Inoue. Next is the Cleveland Browns. Now, I know that Cleveland is looking for... I think Cleveland did a fantastic job with rebuilding their offensive line. That was smart what they did. They went out there and they actually reshaped their offensive line well enough that I think Shedeur Sanders will be protected. They will have Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson protected and able to run the ball well. Their issue is going to be pass catchers. Now, I understand that most people will sit up there and be like, yeah, that's what we know, John. You know, we want us a wide receiver. Hold it. To me, the best fit for the Cleveland Browns is Keion Sadiq. Now, hold Cleveland fans. I understand that you got Harold Fanning. The point that I'm making with this is that if you match up Harold Fanning and you match up Keion Sadiq, again, Todd Monken is used to this type of dual danger tight end setup. I can see a world where Shedeur Sanders' development can go a lot better, being as though he has two elite tight ends. And then when it comes to the more of the development with Cedric Tillman and more of the development with Isaiah Bond, and then even the eventual replacing of Jerry Jeudy, you will have a consistent passing attack that teams will have a very difficult time defending. Because you're talking about if they got to defend Harold Fanning and they got to defend Keion Sadiq, we're talking about we could see something, and I know most people may not like this reference, but when it comes down to it, you can have a very dangerous core similar to like what the Patriots had when they had Hernandez and they had Gronkowski. That was a very dangerous pairing. The same thing can happen with this. So for me, Keion Sadiq is the best fit for the Cleveland Browns. Next is the Washington Commanders, and I know for all the fans of my channel, you know, I am a Commanders fan. I normally do all Commanders content, but when it comes down to it, we have to think about what we need to do as this keeps going on and on and on. For the Commanders, we have to pay attention to what's most important. And currently right now, what's most important is to get this defense on track. We currently don't know what the scheme is, defensively or offensively. So for that, we got to find talent, and we got to find talent that can pick up stuff immediately, that can be effective immediately, and that can get it done. So for that, the best fit for the Washington Commanders is Anthony Hill Jr., the linebacker out of Texas. This is a guy. So for so long, Washington has always had this thing where they were focused on middle linebackers. But when we finally got backers, we always got them at the point that they were aging. So the last really good middle linebacker that we had, other than Bobby Wagner, prior to that was London Fletcher. So we need to find a type like that. And Anthony Hill Jr. is that guy. He's sideline to sideline. He picks up defenses very well. He's been the green dot guy his entire time at Texas. And he's a guy that's unflappable. You don't have to be concerned too much with him in coverage. You don't have to sit up there and worry about him missing a ton of tackles. He's one of the best there is. In fact, he's the best green dot guy in the draft. So for that, especially transitioning into this new defense, you need a guy who can basically be able to call plays flawlessly. And with that, for me, Anthony Hill Jr. is that guy. Next is the New Orleans Saints. Now, New Orleans, with a lot of the changes that they made defensively, they look good. They are very good defensively. Offensively, they need a receiver. But this is the thing about it. They don't need any receiver. They need a receiver that if Chris Olave goes down, that receiver can step into the number one role without needing to be transitioned into that position. And for that, the best fit for the New Orleans Saints is Mekhi Lemon, the wide receiver out of USC. Again, he's a guy that you can actually play him at the 2. He can be effective as the 2. But if by chance, because we've seen him injured in several seasons, if by chance Chris Olave goes down, Mekhi Lemon will be able to step in as the number 1 receiver, and you won't see a lag off or a drop off in production with him switching to the number 1 position. So for that, I think that Mekhi Lemon is the best fit for the Saints. Next is the Kansas City Chiefs. You can't go nowhere but cornerback with this because they need them. They need cornerbacks. They need a safety. They need defense. They need a running back. But to be quite honest, the best fit for the Kansas City Chiefs is Mansour Delane, the cornerback out of LSU, right? Yeah, out of LSU. Mansour Delane is great, and to use him to replace Trent McDuffie, and you might as well throw in there Watson. This is the best thing you can do. The benefit the Chiefs have this season is that they're picking twice in the first round, and they can go corner and get top level guys. Like, in all honesty, let's just say if the Chiefs went Mansour Delane in the first round and then followed that up with Avian Terrell in the first round, they would have set up there and solidified their cornerback position in the first round. Then they can go and find their running back in the second round. So, I mean, the Chiefs are set up to basically walk out of this draft rebuilt in just one draft. It's crazy. But to me, Mansour Delane makes the best sense because you need an elite cornerback to come in and immediately start, and he's that guy. Next is the Cincinnati Bengals, who I have on this list, but they won't be picking until the second round. They made the trade with the Giants to move up for Dexter Lawrence, and the Giants in turn took the 10th overall pick. But for that, when it comes to the Cincinnati Bengals, you have to find a guy that's going to be in the second round, or that's going to be equivalent to that being in the second round. The Cincinnati Bengals need offensive line help. They've been needing offensive line help for years. So with that, I'm going at the guard position. I think that this guy can actually replace, I think it's Dalton Reisner is the right guard. This guy can do it. Not only that, he's stout when it comes to the running game, which is something that they have to start going to so they can protect Joe Burrow better. And this guy is that guy. I have Kalen Rutledge out of Georgia Tech, the guard. He's very good with run protection. He's solid in pass protection, but you have to see more because some of the quarterbacks that he's had to block for haven't been like the greatest. But I think Keion Rutledge is probably one of the stronger offensive linemen in this class. But he will be there in the second round for Cincinnati to pick up. So with that, I have Keion Rutledge, the guard out of Georgia Tech. I like this guy. I think he's great. And like I said, he'll be fantastic for the Cincinnati Bengals. Next is the Miami Dolphins. Where don't they need help? When you get rid of both your receiving threats at wide receiver, you got to have a wide receiver no matter what goes on, because especially with Malik Willis coming in, you need somebody for him to deal with and somebody he can make an impact for and somebody he can make an impact with. And with that, I was concerned about this, but I'm going to go with it. I have Jordan Tyson, a wide receiver out of Arizona State. Now, his injury history does concern me, but I think that he'll have less injuries as long as he stays in warm climate places. I think if he was to go somewhere where the climate is colder, we might see him be probably more broken, more brittle, because colder temperatures are harsh when you still have injuries you got to deal with. So for that, I think that if Jordan Tyson is over his injuries situation and everything is fine with him, he would be the perfect complement to Malik Willis when it comes to throwing the ball. Malik Willis will have no issues getting him the ball, throwing him the ball, and being excited about getting him the ball. So for me, in the current mock draft, I have Jordan Tyson as the best fit for the Miami Dolphins. Next is the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Dallas, offensively, Dallas did something that was very good. They built their defense. They built their offense completely up, especially that offensive line. Now they have to work on the defensive side of the ball. What they need someone who can go out there and call the plays on defense. They need themselves a captain. They need themselves a general of the defense. And with that, the best fit for the Dallas Cowboys is Jacob Rodriguez, the middle linebacker out of Texas Tech. I think that he will solidify their defense for him, especially as a very solid green dot guy who is fast enough to play that way. He does follow kind of like that tradition of those former Cowboy linebackers when you think about Brady James and Sean Lee and oh my God, the other guy's slipping my mind right now, but he falls in line with that grouping of guys. So when you think about it, this is probably the best fit for the Dallas Cowboys, and it's truly what they need to really do their defense a service when it comes to building it up and getting guys in the right places. So Jacob Rodriguez is the best fit for the Dallas Cowboys. Next is the LA Rams. LA gave up a lot of draft picks and things like that, but we know when it comes to the Rams, offense. And with that, the best fit for the LA Rams is Jeremiah Love, the running back out of Notre Dame. When you think about their current running back, their current running backs are all the same. It's kind of similar to the Tennessee discussion I had earlier. You got to have something different than what you already got. They could actually recreate the greatest show on turf with Jeremiah Love as the running back. And being as though Sean McVay knows how to incorporate running backs, knows how to incorporate players, I think that this gives him another amazing weapon to deal with. Not only that, with Puka Nacua having his issues and stuff like that, This is a situation that if Puka was to miss any time due to injury or non-injury, there could be a situation where you can have Jeremiah Love being more of that offensive threat and weapon, and not having to concern yourself with the possibility of Jeremiah Love being down offensively due to the fact that a Nakua isn't there or someone gets injured. You actually can utilize Jeremiah Love as another weapon in that system. So for me, Jeremiah Love is the best fit for the LA Rams. Next is the Baltimore Ravens. I said this from the very beginning, and if you look back at my review or my overview of the edge guys, I've talked about this guy being like a guy that really does fit Baltimore perfectly. He reminds me a lot of Terrell Suggs. That guy is Hakeem Messidor, the edge guy out of Miami. He fits a Baltimore type of mentality, scheme, his relentless motor, his ability to get to the quarterback, the fact that he's a danger himself. He does a very good job getting around the passer. He does a fantastic job sealing the edge. This guy is a Raven through and through. So for me, Akeem Messidor is the best fit for the Baltimore Ravens. Next is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Tampa Bay could use stuff on the offensive line. Not much. They could probably use an edge guy as well. But I'm going to give them the best player that's there that would basically solidify their secondary. And for me, that guy is Caleb Downs. Could you imagine a world where Caleb Downs is next to Antoine Whitfield and the type of havoc and problems they would create? Because not only that, you're talking about both of them are hybrid safeties. They both can come and play the strong. They both can play the free. So if there's ever a point where a team tries to change the coverage, where they force Antoine Whitfield down into the box, it's not going to matter because Caleb Downs can cover over the top as well. So to me, this is actually the best fit defensively and in that secondary for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I like Caleb Downs as that guy, as the best fit for the Tampa Bay Bucs. Next is the Indianapolis Colts, who is picking in the second round because they traded away their first round pick. And with that, they traded their first round pick to the Jets for Sauce Gardner. So, and with that, they're going to need linebackers. I mean, trading away Zaire Franklin and trading away some of the other backers that they had. I mean, I think you're talking about they've lost backers several years in a row. So with that, the guy I have here is C.J. Allen. The reason I have C.J. Allen here is because he's a great downhill backer, great sideline to sideline backer, and where he fails at in coverage can be made up in the secondary because he'll be playing in front of a very good secondary that will be able to help him should he be lost in coverage. So for that, when it comes down to it, C.J. Allen, again, another green dot guy who can really play and really get to the court, really get to the runners and also stop plays that is all in front of him. I think you're talking about a guy who can call things out and actually put guys in very good positions. And like I said, the secondary will help him in coverage because the Indianapolis Colts secondary is very good. So for that, I have C.J. Allen as the best fit for the Indianapolis Colts, who's picking in the second round. Next is the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions need somebody opposite of Aiden Hutchinson that will be impactful when it comes down to it. And again, the edge guys in this class are good, but not every edge guy fits a scheme. And because of that, The guy I've chosen for the Detroit Lions is Keldrick Falk, the edge guy out of Auburn. He's the perfect fit for them. He comes off the edge very fast. He comes off the edge very quickly. He has power, which is actually good as well. He doesn't have many pass rush moves, but playing opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, he can actually eventually transition into being able to eventually craft some pass rush moves, but his speed and his power off the edge would be a fine compliment to Aiden Hutchinson. So for that, I have Keldrick Falk as the best fit for the Detroit Lions. Next is the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are looking to replace longtime safety Harrison Smith. And with that, I actually have a guy that's actually a better fit than the guy that most people want to go there. And for me, that guy is Michael Taft, the safety out of Texas. He's actually a great zone safety. He's a great man safety, and he plays the run very well. He's also a guy that can call out plays if you need a guy to call the secondary plays or get the secondary into a better fitting system. I understand that a lot of people like Dylan Tinnaman, but I think that Michael Taft is the better fit for y'all because Tinnaman is good at man, but he's not great at zone. Taft is great at both. So when it comes down to it, Michael Taft is actually the better fit for the Minnesota Vikings than Tinnaman is. So for that, I have Michael Taft as the fit for the Minnesota Vikings. Next is the Carolina Panthers. Carolina needs to put more on that. Don't get me wrong. I think that they're better offensively than people give them credit for, and because of that, I see them being better when it comes to certain things defensively. They need a slot guy, a slot corner that will be able to really help them in it. Now, for me personally, the slot guy that I've chosen, I feel is better, but if they went with the other slot guy, I would understand as well. But to me, the best guy for Carolina is Jalen Kilgore, the slot cornerback from South Carolina. The reason why I say that is because he has a universal remote appeal to himself. He can play safeties, both safeties. He can play slot corner. He can also be bumped out to outside corner. So it will be a thing where if, say by chance, someone gets injured, he would be able to pick up the slack in the secondary by moving around to different positions. And I think his positional flexibility will make him a very desired component and addition to the Carolina Panthers. So for me, Jalen Kilgore is the best fit for the Carolina Panthers. Next is the Atlanta Falcons, who will be picking in the second round after trading their pick to... Oh my God, I can't remember who they traded their pick to, but they're picking in the second round. At this point, we don't know what James Pierce Jr.'s situation is going to be or what's going to happen with that. Long term, I don't know if they'll want him there, so you have to replace him. And with that, the guy I have here, especially when you're picking in the second round, the guy I have here is Patrick Payton, the edge guy out of LSU. The reason I chose him is because he's great at pass rush. He doesn't tackle well, but he's great at pass rushing the ball and getting to the quarterback and everything like that. He's also very good at defending the run. So for that, I do feel that this guy will probably be your best fit when it comes to installing him into that defense. Here's the problem. I know Kevin Stefanski is now the coach, but you guys are still going to have the same defensive coordinator, which means you're going to still be running the exact same scheme that y'all ran last year. This guy would be a plug-and-play guy. Like I said again, he doesn't tackle well. So for that, that's probably one of the few things you have to work on with him. And with that, he will fit that scheme perfectly, and he will come off the edge quickly and fast. And I think that he would be a very quality replacement for a guy like James Pierce Jr. So I have Patrick Payton as the selection for the to best fit the Atlanta Falcons. Next is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, we've seen Pittsburgh struggle with the offensive line situation for years, and we now have to keep building on that. And with that, the guy I selected for the Pittsburgh Steelers is Caleb Tiernan, the tackle out of Northwestern. He's very good at pass protection when it comes down to it. Depending on if Aaron Rodgers comes back or not, this will be the guy that you will need to sit up there and be your stout person that's going to be able to really either push Broderick Jones out of the starting position, or submit the fact that they can probably kick Brock Jones into guard, because at this current time it's not working, and he's very good at pass protection. So I do feel that Caleb Tiernan, being as though the type of offense Mike McCarthy runs, he does like a tackle that is very more, like I said, he gives a lot of freedom to his quarterbacks to really sit up there and run the offense. And for that, I think that Caleb Tiernan is the best fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Next is the LA Chargers. The Chargers, they don't have a lot of holes, but they also have things that could make them better. Wide receiver is the thing. They need a guy who's functionally better at doing things. Don't get me wrong, Ladd McConkey can do it, but you need another guy that can be as impactful as Ladd McConkey. And with that, the guy I've selected for the LA Chargers is Jeremy Bernard, the wide receiver out of Alabama. I think his game matches very well with what John Harbaugh likes to do, and also what we saw with Ladd McConkey in a previous season. So I think Jeremy Bernard will fit that scheme very, very well. Not only that, he'll be very impactful, because it will be hard to try to defend him and Ladd McConkey in the middle of the field, because knowing that both of them are known for yak yardage, and then those two guys will open up Quentin Johnson for the deep pass. So I like moving. I like McConkey in the slot, but I also like Bernard on the outside opposite of Johnson. So for that, I chose Jeremy Bernard as that guy. Next is the Philadelphia Eagles. A.J. Brown is going to more than likely be gone. So for that, they got to take a wide receiver. The best wide receiver to fit them that I have here is Omar Cooper Jr. Omar runs very great in crisp routes. He's not as tall as A.J. Brown, but he gets the job done. He can play outside. He was playing a lot of slot for Indiana, but he can play outside too. He can probably take over the A.J. Brown role, and Philadelphia won't feel forced to put Devontae Smith in that top role. So I like Omar Cooper Jr. as the pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. He slots in perfectly for them. He's not the perfect replacement for A.J. Brown, but he's a very solid replacement for A.J. Brown. Next is the Green Bay Packers. Again, they don't pick in the first round. They traded their pick to the Cowboys for Micah Parsons. So for that, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, I got them in the second round taking Danny Dennis Sutton. They need very strong edge play this upcoming season, because they have a lot of guys that will probably be transitioning out. I think I called him Danny. Dennis Sutton is a guy that I think would be a great fit for them because he can slowly come on, slowly transition in, and actually become a massive impact down the line. He's a big guy, but he's a guy that is very stout when it comes to certain things in regards to how things operate and work in these particular situations. So for that, I got Dennis Sutton as the best fit for the Green Bay Packers. Next is the Bears. And for the Bears, they need safety help. They need safety help. They need safety help. They need safety help. And for that, I have Dylan Thieneman for their pick. Now, a lot of people I know a lot of Minnesota Viking fans are going to be like, but that was our guy. He fits their scheme better than he fits your scheme. Michael Taft fits your scheme. Dylan fits their scheme because he's more of a man guy and he's not a zone guy. And what happens is that defensively the Bears run more man than they run zone. And Dylan fits them a whole lot better. So for that, due to the fact that he's a better man guy and not a zone guy, that's why the Chicago Bears is the best fit for him. Next is the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo need receiver help. They need receiver help all over the place. But they did try to help themselves by getting DJ Moore. So now they got to put somebody opposite of him. That guy I have here is Denzel Boston, the wide receiver out of Washington. Long, lanky guy who can catch with ease, can run very good routes. You don't have to worry about his development like you did with Keion Coleman, who seems to have just not have gotten it. But I do feel he's the perfect fit for them because he can outrun some guys. And not only that, when you think about DJ Moore playing opposite of him will open him up some more for deep passes down the field. And it gives Josh Allen the opportunity to actually, for once, stay in the pocket and not feel the need to have to run so much and end up in a situation where he's injured. So for that, Denzel Boston is the best fit for the Buffalo Bills. Next is the San Francisco 49ers. And for them, it's now time to look towards the future. They just extended Trent Williams with a long contract, so they can actually make a risky move by looking to find his eventual replacement. And for that, I have Monroe Freeland, the left tackle out of Georgia. He's an amazing pass protector, which is what you want when you think about the 49ers and Brock Purdy. With him not being as stout in run blocking, he can sit behind Trent and really ease himself into the process of learning what it's like to be in the NFL, and at the same time learning from one of the best in the NFL. So for that, Monroe Freeland is the best fit for the San Francisco 49ers. Next is the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are stout all over the place, but their whole thing is that they have to get that offensive line together. They have to get it together. And because of that, the guy I've chosen to be the perfect fit for them is, in fact, Billy Sharuth. I think it's either Sharuth or Shruth, something like that. But he's the guard out of Notre Dame. He comes from a running back scheme in Notre Dame where he blocked for Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love. And I know with Houston, they're going to want to go to that particular style as well, where they're going to want somebody who's very good at blocking for running backs. Not only that, he's also very solid as a pass protector. And with the fact that C.J. Stroud is moving forward and you want C.J. Stroud to have a very good season, the best thing to do is give him someone who can actually be a very solid player for him. And that guy to me is 100% Billy Sharuth, the guard out of Notre Dame. I think it's Sharuth or Shroth. One of the two is something like that. Next is the Jacksonville Jaguars, who will not be picking until the 3rd round. So for that, they need a replacement for Devin Lloyd. Now, Devin Lloyd was solid in coverage, but there'd be times he wasn't super great in running down and against the run. But he was good enough. This guy is very good against the run. He's a green dot guy, and he's a guy that can actually get things done. And for that, the guy I've chosen for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who best complements what they do, is Keion York, the linebacker out of Texas A&M. He will be there in the 3rd round. He will be a guy that will be able to complement a defensive scheme that he can now call a plays and actually be very good at calling these plays. He will also be able to really slowly but steadily eventually replace Devin Lloyd. Even though he's not great in coverage, what they'll ask him to do will probably be less than what they were asking Devin Lloyd to do when it came to coverage reasons. But other than that, I'm telling you, Keion York will be a perfect fit for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next is the Denver Broncos, who will not be picking until the 2nd round. Running back. It's no getting around it. It's no thinking about it. It's no understanding it. They need a running back. The guy I got slated to them is Emmett Johnson, a running back out of Nebraska. He won't have to go far. I think that a lot of other running backs will probably slowly have issues with eventually getting used to that high elevation air, and that will be like a massive problem for them. And for that, I will have to go into this and say, hey, to me, Emmett Johnson fits exactly what Sean Payton wants to do. And I think that long term, he will be the fit that you need the most when it comes to this. So for that, Emmett Johnson, to me, is the guy. Next is the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots, they need a lot of work done. And one of the things that they need done is they got to get edge play. And when it comes to edge play, they've been able to take a guy like Keion Chason and make him better than what he's been. I like the fact that they were able to do that. And for that, the guy that I got slated here is Zion Young. He's not fully there yet as a pass rusher. He's very good as a pass rusher. But to me, he adequately replaces Keion Chason to play in that particular scheme. He does a fantastic job of getting in on the quarterback, and he has a relentless motor. If you pay attention to the New England Patriots this year, they didn't ask their edge guys to do a lot of like maintaining the edge and things like that, but he can do that. But they did have their edge guys rush the passer, and this is what he does a good job at it. So for that, Zion Young is the best fit for New England. Last but not least is the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks is a team that really does a great job with the running game. They need a running back, and I slotted the perfect running back for them. Jadarian Price, the running back out of Notre Dame, is the perfect fit for them. He will come in and will immediately be able to replace Kenneth Walker. He's very consistent when it comes down to it. I know he has slight fumbling issues, but Kenneth Walker at one time did too. And they were able to correct that. And with that, that was the Frustrated Fans Not Mock Draft, where I've slotted all the players to where they best fit, and I'm not predicting where they will go. So with that, y'all tell me in the comments below, how do y'all like the Not Mock Draft? I'm going to have to find ways to make this short because, man, this is long. But y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments below. Other than that, this has been your man, John Fortune, and it's been the Frustrated Fans Sports Show.